to me and his channel.
What's up, your boy LOE Visuals? I'm back with another video out of the day. I hope y'all vibing, y'all chilling, y'all enjoying y'all day. We back at it. Before I start, make sure y'all smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow my social medias, follow my X at Visuals, LOE, follow my TikTok at LOE.Visuals, and follow my Facebook at LOE Visuals. So let's talk about it. So, will Canelo Alvarez rematch Terence Crawford? You know, if we do know anything, Canelo has a history of, not taking rematches, after losses. I couldn't say Floyd because Floyd wouldn't have gave him a rematch. But, since we've been watching Canelo fight, the two losses he has took, legit losses. We can't count all the close fights he was in. We just saying legit losses. He's never took a rematch, and most recently, the loss to Dimitri Bivol, we thought he would take a rematch, but that didn't happen. And now we have him losing to Terence Crawford. Does he take a rematch against Terence Crawford? With what I'm seeing, I mean, I don't think so. I don't think he takes a rematch with Terence Crawford. That team has a tendency to kind of be timid when it comes to doing, when it comes to, taking rematches, and they're in fear of, losing, that star power. I think a loss, even though I feel like a loss will hurt him, the fan base of Canelo, they'll come up with, anything to negate the fact that he took that L. I uploaded a TikTok, congratulating Terence Crawford, and you got certain Canelo fans like, oh, the fight was boring. Oh, the fight. You can't pull that card because he took an L. He lost, and it was very convincingly too. I told you guys, I think I had about 117, 111. I'm probably gonna watch it again today when I'm not doing anything. But yeah, I had it 117, 111 very convincingly. I'm not the only one that thinks this. Bomac seems to believe that Canelo isn't taking this rematch, especially after how one-sided the fight was, like being that, a lightweight came up to your division, your punch didn't scare him away, your pressure couldn't scare him away, and after that, you see a guy gain confidence. And basically, you let a welterweight stand in main with you. Because I'm not going to say a lightweight anymore, because he's been, I would say at this point, he was a true welterweight. But you let a welterweight bang with you. And I don't want to judge you and say that's a bad look, but it's a bad look. I don't think Eddie Reynoso and Canelo want to get back in there and have to deal with that all over and over again. I think they stay far away from Canelo. And this is just, me kind of, and this is why I kind of, skills pay the bills. I kind of thought the size would be too much for Crawford, but prove me wrong, and I'll handily admit that. I have no problem admitting, Crawford proved me wrong, But yeah, does he take the rematch? I mean, it's gonna be, if he does take the rematch, it's gonna be a few things not in his favor. Crawford's gonna want more money. You may have to take less money. It's a lot of variables to where, the fight, I can see the rematch not happening. Do you possibly want to take another L? Because, I mean, although you say to the fans and in the post fight, my body this, my body couldn't perform. No, it was you. Once you realize you didn't really have much for Crawford, you realize what situation you were in at that point, and do you want to deal with that again? And the crazy part about it, Canelo's the younger guy. And this isn't one of the situations where you can wait a guy out, you can't do anything. It's kind of, you know, you're at a disadvantage because Crawford said that, you know, he's gonna hold the belts, and I'll get into that, you know, in my next video if I should have time to upload it, you know, right after this one or record it right after this one. But you know, Crawford said he's gonna Crawford and Bomac, you know, I think they have plans on holding the title. They don't want to vacate, and I'll talk about that in the next video. But, you know, with them doing that, you know, it's him sitting at your division just parlaying, and you can't do anything. So now they kind of push the pressure, you know, on the Canelo fans to be like, bro, I want you to rematch Crawford. Because if anything, with, you know, reportedly they say what Crawford made like $10 million or something to fight Terence. To fight Canelo. I know he's gonna want at least more than that, but I really just don't think Turkey Al-Sheikh would give Crawford $10 million in his biggest fight, you know, to date. You know, I think he might have made more in the Spence fight, but I don't think Turkey just gave him 10. That's just probably what's on paper. You know, that's what I think. But yeah, if Crawford sits at 168, just holding those titles, eventually they're gonna order a mandatory, but, you know, and just let those titles spread out. If he vacates them, you know, one by one, it's gonna make Canelo look bad. You know, Canelo's gonna have to go fight some fights he don't want to fight. You know, and then we possibly see Canelo hang him up, because I think Crawford is like, yeah, you can't do anything at 68, you know, regaining the title without, you know, having to come through me. And I think that's smart, you know, respectfully. I do think that's smart. You know, don't let Canelo off the hook. You know, let him know, I'm still at 68 if you want your rematch. But at this point, you know, what usually happens, he avoids those fights. So I can't just sit here and say, oh yeah, Canelo's gonna take the fight, he's gonna take the fight. I just don't think so. You know, especially after how one-sided it was. I don't think he has the confidence to you know, to get back, you know, in the ring and do it again. And because if you ask me what'll happen in a rematch, I mean, it tends to lean toward the more skillful boxer. So you're basically giving Crawford round 13, because he's been in there with him, you know, for 12 rounds. So, you know, once you get to that point where you're at round 13, you kind of gotta give the boxer the benefit. You know, just by having the edge at, you know, being the better boxer, being a better technical guy. You know, Canelo isn't a guy that jabs, and that's probably why he lost. You know, you can't just walk down everybody, you know, and that's what happened. But do you guys think the rematch happened? I'll ask you guys, you know, before I close it out. I kind of think, you know, Canelo's probably gonna be, you know, things aren't gonna go in his way in his rematch, and that's gonna probably keep the rematch from happening. Like, you're gonna have to give Crawford a piece of the pie, a piece of some type of that money, because, you know, you made 150. Okay, cool. Can you take 100 this time? You know, if he really wants the rematch, because I don't think Crawford should just accept it and get penny pinched. But, you know, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Make sure y'all smash the like button, We're on the road to 10K subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. I love you guys so much. I'm out.